We're going to read chapter 33 called Fights and Facts from the Green Ember. Beneath Helmer's maple tree, Pickett went through his sword exercises. He sliced, blocked, attacked, dove, spun, jumped, slid, fell down, shot up, did it all again, over and over. Too predictable, Helmer shouted from the comfort of a shady spot a few yards away. He seemed to only partially pay attention, but Pickett had learned that Helmer had an unbelievable ability to perceive his surroundings, no matter how disengaged he appeared to be. "Mix it up, Ladybug." "Yes, Master Helmer," Pickett shouted, and threw himself into the routine with renewed vigor. Pickett was not the rabbit he'd been a week before. He was leaner, stronger, quicker, tougher than ever. He could handle his sword reasonably well and was less inclined to backchat. "Impressive. That's better," Helmer mumbled. Pickett stopped, shocked to hear praise, albeit mumbled, from his tempestuous tutor. He was rewarded for stopping with a small rock hurled his way. "You stop when I say so." Pickett dodged the rock and resumed his routine. In a few minutes, Helmer stopped him. "Okay, that's good. Now up in the tree." "The tree?" Pickett asked. "Yes, Ladybug. Do you have a problem with that?" Helmer said. "Do you think all combat happens on the ground? We're fighting birds, among other things, Master Soft Head. So we're going to work on maintaining balance at a height, which mostly means you're going to walk on the thin, high limbs while I throw rocks at you." Well, Pickett started, and he looked up. The trees seemed to wobble before him. He thought he might faint. "No, sir, no problem." He walked slowly toward the tree, reaching up to find a grip and climb. All his training so far had been on the ground. He was not ready for this. His vision blurred. He fell to his knees. Panic swelled inside him until he was convinced the only thing he could do was run away. "Afraid of heights?" Helmer asked. "Perfect. You really are a mixed-up lad. You come here full of defiance and anger, then show up and you're a horrible, hobbled mess. You spend a week with me. Now you're such an efficient student. It's scaring me. I begin to think you might someday be a kind of a decent soldier. And now this? You've got a doe's fear of heights." "I can conquer it, sir," Pickett said, his voice cracking. "Yeah, you sound like it's got you pretty well conquered." "I'm willing to work and overcome anything, sir, including this," Pickett choked out. Okay, Helmer said, smiling ruefully. "We'll tackle this fear of high places tomorrow, if tomorrow ever comes. I'm too tired to hold your hand and sing lullabies to you tonight." Pickett hung his head. No matter how hard he worked, no matter how hard he was, that he had built a fortress around his heart, there was always a breach. It felt like ages ago that he was afraid to climb the old maple in Nick Hollow to follow the star stick. But he was still the same kid, afraid of every bird, afraid of every height. "Don't worry," Helmer said. "It's just another enemy to be taken down in the end." Pickett looked up and half smiled. Sometimes he thought Helmer seemed almost like a real rabbit. "Yes, sir." "Don't stand there like a baby with no head. Get into the woods." They practiced for another half hour with wooden swords, Pickett always showing improvement, always learning, always receiving hundreds of painful raps from his phenomenal master's swords. One day, Pickett thought, I'll be like him, untouchable with a blade, then let Red-Eye try me again. After this final exercise, they were finished for the day. Pickett gathered his few things, which included his own straight steel sword, a gift from Uncle Wilfred, and prepared to leave. "One last thing, Pickett, before you go," said Helmer. "Yes, master," he said. "Relax, son," said Helmer. "Son, you're no slouch. That's saying something." "Thank you, sir." "Listen, Pickett, I want you to be aware that things around here are changing. I don't know what the next weeks or days may bring, but Rakes believes we may soon have trouble from the enemy. That is, if the various Citadel lords don't cause a war inside this sanctuary of peace and understanding first. He laughed one of his hard-edged sword laughs. Master Helmer, I'll be ready when trouble comes to do my part in our victory over the enemy. Pickett, I like you, kid, but you're not serious? Very serious, sir. Helmer paced a few steps away, then turned back to Pickett. 2 things. 1, you're not fighting, nor anytime soon anyway, and 2, we won't win. Pickett paled. What do you mean? His stony would-be soldier face was giving way. Some of the vulnerable child showed through. I mean, we can't win. The odds are too great. We don't have the organization, the leadership, or the numbers. If we were united, and we're far from it, we would have the same chance as a worm on Morbin's dinner plate. But we don't even have that. Begging your pardon, Master, said Pickett, but I can't agree. We have to win. We have to keep fighting, clawing, surviving, and going on till we empty the forest of every red-eye garlickson, every Morbin blackhawk, every last bird of prey filling the sky. We have to. Helmer shook his head. What we have to do, Pickett, is to face the facts. Pickett shook his head. I have to find my family, he whispered, tears starting. I can't give up on them. Helmer's face contorted, seemed to soften a moment, then resumed its stern indifference. He exhaled slowly and then spoke. Listen, son. In real life, bad things happen all the time. You miss your only chance to do something great. You don't measure up when it counts. Your mother gets sick and dies. The flood destroys your home, and that's it. It's gone. He was getting louder, more empathetic. The rabbit dies in the war, and he's gone. Gone. And you can't bring him back. You can't bring any of them back. He paused, turned away, then spun back and faced Pickett. The fact is, I served King Jupiter, and I loved him. But this ain't a bedtime story, boy. The king was killed. We lost. It's over. No happy ending here. The mended wood is a child's motto to keep alive the pathetic hopes of rabbits who just need to face the facts. It's all over. There's no more great wood. No glory coming. The glory's behind us. It's the sad end of a happy tale. That's real life. They don't like you being a little bitter. I say it keeps you alive. Let that settle in, lad, because in reality, you're dealing with that. And the more of them that do the same, the better. We're lost. We're losing. And we're going to keep losing till we lose it all. They're going to find this place sometime, probably soon. We'll all be forced to flee. Or it'll be worse. Rabbits like me and you will die vainly trying to defend the last little corner of light in the world. He looked out over the village green at the many rabbits working, talking, eating, and laughing. I've been a soldier all my life, Pickett. I've been with many at the end. We're alone here, and the stories are all wrong. Nothing will end well. We're going to lose, Pickett. The stories are all wrong. That's the end of this chapter.